Did you know that slaves used to sing songs?
The songs that they sang were called spirituals.
Slaves sing a song every week to express their faith as well as to show sadness and
Songs used to say, these songs were sung at churches and fields and as signal songs on the Underground Railroad.
many of these songs have hidden meanings in them.
In a moment, we will sing Wade in the Water. This song taught runaway slaves to walk in the water to disguise their sons. This made it so that the slave owners' dogs could not find the runaway slaves.
School, preschoolers will be coming up. This is Miss Nancy and Miss Sue's preschool 3 and 4. Good morning, everyone. Our preschool class had the pleasure of Reverend Austin. There we go. Children got to and it was great. And as they wave, okay, guys, remember how we stand? We have our little
poster over here. We're going to do Wheels on the Bus, but we rewrote it about Miss Rosa Parks. So let's get going.
Okay, now we're going to have grade 1. First grade, it's your turn. Sure that you can.
Hello.
Today we are going to be learning about Dr. Mae Jemison. She was the first African-American female astronaut that went to outer space. Mae loved science as a child. She had a mom, dad, sister, and brother. Mae had many dreams. Her first dream was to be a dancer. She loved to dance. Her next dream was to go to school and become a doctor. She worked really hard. Her biggest dream was to become an astronaut. She studied a lot and became the first female African-American female astronaut. She studied a lot, became the first African-American female astronaut. She was in space for 8 days. Other dream was to be a teacher like her mom. After being an astronaut, she became a professor. She loved teaching future scientists like her. She even is an author and wrote her own book about her life. She was on TV episode of Star Trek. There is even a Lego figure made of her. She is a wonderful example of strong leader for Black History Month. Now let's get ready to blast off into space with Dr. Mae Jemison.
Very nice job, first grade. Okay, second grade. Make sure you speak into the microphone, please.
I'm gonna find out. Yeah, I guess we're good. Okay, so we're just gonna pass. All right. Are you all right? Can you
Yes.
speak? Which one? Which one?
No worries. This will be easy.
So you're gonna be able to speak to her? Speak to the audience. I'm gonna bring it up a little. So you wanna make sure they can hear you.
Sure, okay.
Lean in. And when you guys exit now, you're gonna exit that way. Okay. Hi, this is our presentation. It's kind of a two-parter. So we have two little mini skits that are gonna go back to back.
No worries. This will be easy as you're accepting your Lifetime Achievement Award.
What would I do without you, gal? How are you all doing? How are you all doing today? You sure are different than my usual audience. My friend Gal here told me I was going to speak to you all today, and I wasn't sure what I was going to say.
Some of you already know her from TV and have some questions for her today. Any takers?
Yeah, what was it like to grow up poor?
Well, I've been poor and I've been rich, and rich is better, isn't it, Gal?
Next question.
What were you like as a child?
I was born in Mississippi in 1954, and my parents were not together. So for the first few years of my life, I lived with my grandmother on a farm. I used to pretend the farm animals were an audience, and I would act in front of them. So I would recite poems and Bible verses in my church.
Next question.
I've heard you say your behavior was bad when you were a kid. What
Um,
made you change?
I'm not proud, but I did get into a lot of trouble. When I was young, I was angry and not good and sent to a detention home. It seemed like my life was going in the wrong direction, so I decided to change it for the better.
Next question.
So why do you think you have been so successful?
I've had great people in my life and been given a lot of opportunities, but I've always wanted to help people, so I'm always looking for answers. I've heard that if you seek, you find. I guess it's true.
What is your greatest achievement?
Well, being a billionaire is pretty good, but I wouldn't consider that my greatest achievement. I've gotten lots of awards.
Like Broadcaster of the Year award?
And the first woman to own and produce her own talk show.
Aren't you also one of the 100 most influential people of the 20th century by Time magazine?
Yes, but I think my greatest achievement is the fact that I've been able to teach and help millions of people all over the world their best life. So I would say that is my greatest achievement.
That's my best friend, actress, producer, and talk show host, Oprah Winfrey.
So until we meet again, live your best life, everybody.
Wow, isn't she great?
Yeah, being in the presence of Oprah is amazing.
So don't you want to tell them about your life story?
Don't you? No one wants to tell their life story after Oprah.
Now come on. I might have been the first African American male to win an Academy Award, But you getting the role of God in the movie Bruce Almighty was a pretty big deal. I mean, a black god?
That was amazing. We sure have come far in this great country of ours.
We sure have, but think about it. Back in the days of slavery or even the Civil War, could you ever imagine that one day a poor black woman would grow up to become one of the richest and most powerful women in our history?
Or that a man of color will be president?
Yep, I'm not sure that even Martin Luther King Jr. himself could have predicted something like that.
Maybe he could. He was a man of vision, you know. He did believe that one day we will all be treated equal regardless of the color of our skin.
It was great visionaries like Dr. King, Malcolm X, George Washington Carver, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Ruby Bridges, and so many others who have paved the way for today's generation people. People like me and you. Here are a few of them now.
Like B.B. King, Mae Jemison, Cheryl White, Colin Kaepernick, Lonnie B. Johnson, Simone Biles. Now imagine a world without their courage and their willingness to risk it all. There will be no desegregation today, no men and women of color in leadership positions, no civil rights or Academy actors.
We thank those who have come before us.
We sure do. So all of you boys and girls out there, take every opportunity available to you. Chase those dreams and never forget the great ones who've paved our way. To our past, our present, and our future. I am Morgan Freeman.
And I am Sydney Poitier.
May we never forget.
Well done, second grade. And now we have third grade. Coming on up.
A little story about Harriet Tubman.
When Harriet was a little girl, she lived in a little cabin on a big farm in the south. Her mother and father had to work on the farm. They were slaves owned by the farmer.
Harriet ran and played with her brothers and sisters and listened to stories at night. Her favorite story was the story of Moses who led his people to God's promised land.
As soon as Harriet was old enough, she was sent away to work on a different farm. She missed her family, but the songs and stories of the other slaves working in the field reminded her of home.
Harriet heard stories about slaves who escaped from their home owner and went north to live as free people.
Harriet grew
into a strong young woman. She worked hard every day and prayed every night. She dreamed of being free. Then one night, Harriet ran away. She followed the North Star, walking through woods and fields and streams for miles. She was tired, hungry, and afraid.
With a little bit of help, Harriet finally made it to freedom. But she was certain that she had to leave her family behind.
It was very dangerous, but she wanted to go back to help them. Harriet went back to the South again and again to bring more people to freedom. Pretty soon, people started telling stories about Harriet Tubman. They called her Moses, but she led people to freedom, just like her favorite Bible story.
A very little girl had very big dreams of being free. She grew up to be a very brave woman who made her dreams come true for herself and many others.
Even though Harriet Tubman is most famous for her efforts to abolish slavery and the Underground Railroad, she was also a nurse, a Union spy during the Civil War, and a woman suffrage supporter. She did much to help the poor and elderly.
Harriet Tubman died in March of 1913 at the age of 93, but her legacy still lives on.
Very well done. Thank you, third grade. Okay, fourth grade.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the St. Clair Black History Trivia Show. I'm Bryce Wilson, and this is my co-host, Edith Shaughnessy.
Hello, today our wonderful contestants will be answering our Black history questions. We hope you gain new knowledge from our show.
Let's begin the game.
Will duo number 1 step forward, read the question after answers, say that's Will duo 1 step forward? Who was the first black man killed in the American Revolution? Correct. That's right.
Duo 2, step forward. Who was the first black man to walk in space? Correct.
Will Duo 3 step forward? What year did the Tulsa Massacre take place? That's right.
Duo 4, step up. What was Dr. Martin Luther King's most famous speech? Correct.
Will Duo 5 step forward? What year did Ruby Bridges become the first African American in a white school? That is correct.
Duo 6, step up. Who is Ann Cole Lou? Correct.
Will Duo 7 step forward? Who was the first black race car driver with autism? That is right.
Which president? Group 6, step up. Group 8, step up. Which president officially recognized Black History Month? Correct.
This includes our show for today. We would like to thank all our very knowledgeable contestants.
Thank you, fourth grade. Very nice. Okay, fifth and sixth.
Can I move this? Some, just me for right now. Oh no, we are both on.
Hot dogs. Hot dogs, get your hot dogs. Hot dogs, get your hot dogs here. Coming right up. We all are, but you should always root for the home team.
With 2 outs, Jeter comes to the plate. Here's the pitch.
Wow!
Swings on the first pitch. Jeter rips it down to the left field line.
Wrong!
He's round the first and heading into second. Here's the throw now. He slides.
Safe!
He's safe at second.
Woo! What a game. No wonder it's the national pastime. Cracker Jacks, peanuts, get your Cracker Jacks here, but it wasn't always like that.
That's right. There was a time when many of the players you're watching today wouldn't have been allowed to play America's game.
But thanks to my hero, Jackie Robinson, baseball is a better game and America is a better place. Peanuts, Cracker Jacks.
Hot dogs, why don't we tell you about them?
Cracker Jacks, get your Cracker Jacks here. The 14th Amendment gave African Americans citizenship way back in 1868. Yet in 1945, black people still didn't have the same rights as white people.
Oftentimes, they weren't allowed to go to the same schools or use the same restrooms, and they certainly weren't allowed to play baseball in the major leagues.
But the president of the Brooklyn Dodgers, Branch Rickey, wanted to change all that, so he invented a young Negro League baseball player to his office.
It was Jackie Robinson.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Rickey.
Let me get right to the point, Jackie. I believe it's unfair to judge a man by the color of his skin, and I believe it's bad business to keep good athletes off my team. I need a player who's strong enough to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball.
That's a mighty tall order, Mr. Rickey, but I believe I'm up to it.
I'm looking for a special kind of athlete. My scouts tell me you're the only person ever to learn football, basketball, track, and baseball at UCLA.
The competition was pretty fierce in my household. Growing up with 3 older brothers and all,
I guess you'd say I had to develop a fiery spirit.
And a fierce temper, no doubt.
Mr. Ricky knew he needed more than just a great athlete if he wanted to be successful in his goal of integrating baseball.
He needed someone with strength of character. If you were to play for the Dodgers, Mr. Robinson, will you be able to control yourself when people hurl into you?
My mother raised us to believe like a gentleman, to be respectful even when we were treated badly. Growing up in Pasadena, the white men in the neighborhood would throw rocks at my brothers, but we refused to stoop to their level.
That's good to hear, Jackie, but I can assure you it will be much worse with packed stadiums with 40,000 people yelling at you. What will you do when crowds taunt you with racist remarks?
My mother always taught me to turn the other cheek.
What will you do when umpires call you out when you're really safe?
Next time, I'll hit the ball harder.
What will you do if the pitcher throws a ball at your head?
I'll duck.
Mr. Ricky tested Jackie for almost 3 hours. He told him about all the nasty things people would do to him. He even tried to make him angry by calling him names.
All these things will happen to you and more. Teams will refuse to play against you. Fans will spit on you. You'll get hate mail. But Jackie showed he could control his temper.
Do you want a baseball player who's afraid to stand up for himself?
No, I want the man with the courage not to fight back.
Cracker Jacks, hot roast peanuts. It was big news on sports pages all across America when Mr. Ricky signed Jackie to a contract.
Then, after a year in the minor leagues, Jackie was ready to suit up, not just for Brooklyn, but for the entire African-American community. Hot dogs get while they're hot.
Needless to say, this worried a lot of white folk, especially many of the players in the Dodgers locker room.
I can't believe it.
What's up?
It says here in the news that this black fella is getting called up to play for our team.
What? I won't have it. I'll quit before I play with the colored man. We'll be the laughing stock of the whole league.
Say, let's start a petition and send it to the management. We'll let Mr. Ricky know that we're not going to stand for this.
Good idea.
We, the members of the Brooklyn Dodgers, refuse to take the field up with a colored man.
These ball players went around getting all the other Dodgers to sign.
But there was one Dodger who wouldn't have anything to do with it.
Harold, you should sign this petition to keep that colored fella off the team. I don't have a voice.
I hear tell this Robinson fella is a shortstop. They aim to give him your job.
If he's good enough to take my job, then you deserve it. Sorry, boys, I want time. But Pee-wee. I don't care if this man is blue or striped, black or striped. If he can help me play this win, then that's all that matters.
course, like Jackie Robinson and Branch Rickey, Pee Wee Reed knew there was way more to it than that. If Jackie could help the Dodgers win, then other teams would sign black players too.
It would lead to the integration of the national pastime and ultimately to the integration of America. Hot dogs, fresh frankfurters.
Cracker Jacks, get your Cracker Jacks here. You can just imagine how tough it was for Jackie back in 1947.
His teammates wouldn't sit by him. Opponents spiked him with their cleats. The Ku Klux Klan threatened him and his family.
But through it all, Jackie resisted the temptation to strike back in anger.
Get off the field, Robinson. Colored men are restricted to the bleachers.
Boo! Boo!
Maybe Jackie learned to tune out the angry shouts from the crowd. Or maybe they bothered him more than he let on.
But one day, at a game in Ohio, things took a turn for the better.
There'll be people waiting for you in the parking lot after the game, Robinson.
Hey, Pee Wee, what's a good old boy from the South doing playing ball for black men? Pee Wee decided to stand up for what's right. He jogged over to Jackie and put his arm around his shoulder.
You all right, Jackie? I've been putting up with it all season. I can keep my pace a little longer.
I don't know how you do it.
I just keep reminding myself that there's a lot more at stake here than my pride.
Well, you have a lot to be proud of. With all the pressure upon you, a lesser man would have given up a long time ago.
Thanks, Pee Wee. Now let's win this game.
When the fans saw Pee Wee taking Jackie's side of things, they settled down and enjoyed the game.
And when the rest of the league saw how talented Jackie was, they quit worrying about the skin color and started worrying about whether they could beat those Dodgers. Cracker Jacks, get your Cracker Jacks here.
Despite all that pressure, Jackie led the Dodgers to the World Series and was named Rookie of the Year. Some said it was the toughest season any ball player has ever endured. Last chance for hot dogs.
No doubt that the reason today's game is so exciting is because of Jackie had the courage to turn the other cheek. Peanuts.
We're in the top of the ninth, 2 outs and 2 on the score, tied 2-2. The Yankees are taking no chance with Ken Griffey Jr. up to bat. They've brought in their closer, Mariano Rivera. Here's the pitch.
Ha!
Strike 1.
Hot dogs, get your hot dogs.
Rivera takes a sign. Here comes the pitch. Griffey lifts a flare into the center. The runners are going. This could drop. William dives and makes the catch. Bernie Williams with the game-saving catch for out number 3. Oh my.
If the measure of the measure of a man's life is the impact he had on the lives of others, then Jackie Robinson was a giant of a man.
By changing baseball, he changed America and the world for the better.
Peanuts, Cracker Jacks.
Hot dogs.
Well done, grades 5 and 6. Finally, we have 7th and 8th. I want you to remember that when you are on stage, you love people listening and paying attention and not wiggling, and now others are on stage, right? So we want to be good listeners and not wiggling, okay? Eyes up front, we're supporting other classes and learning, right? Lots to learn today.
Behind Father.
Okay, so thank you for waiting through the delay as we switch our scenes over from Jackie Robinson to... You're not going to know these names. We have some people from history that have had a huge impact, and some of them new people whose names you would recognize. We have John Merrick, and John Merrick is about to be in a podcast. Tell us all a little bit about himself. And after that, we have Lucille B. Smith, and she's going to be in a talk show interview and get a chance to tell us a little bit about herself. And then Annie Malone, who's just trying to have lunch at a restaurant. That's all she wanted to do. And Frank McWhirter, who was named Free Frank, because he was the first person to, no, not the first, one of the first people to start and become very successful in a business. He's an entrepreneur. So there's a lot to learn about them. The skit will reveal some. There's 4 skits in a row. They're short and sweet, but if you listen, you'll learn. And at the end, our famous people from different eras of our American history will be at a bus stop, and they'll get a chance to tell you guys individually about themselves. All right, starting with John Merrick.
Welcome to this episode of Uncovering Heroes. Today we will hear the story of John Merrick, a life insurance provider. As always, don't forget to listen to our other episodes sharing untold stories of brave heroes. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Let's start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Good morning. I would like to say I feel so blessed to be here. I was born into slavery but was free. After gaining my freedom, I started a successful chain of barbershops. As I cut hair, people told me the struggles of their daily life. I dug a little deeper and found very few African Americans had access to life insurance. I felt the need to solve that problem. I started North Carolina Mutual Life to offer life insurance to African Americans.
What do you think inspired you to be a life insurance provider?
I wanted to help and serve my community. I think everyone's life matters equally, no matter who you are or where you come from. The Black community were longing for a sense of security and being cared for. I like to think I provided that.
What do you believe life insurance to be?
Life insurance is an investment benefiting your descendants. When you get a life insurance policy, you make regular payments. After you die, the company will give money to your heirs, passing down wealth to future generations.
Do you have any advice to share with young people fighting injustice?
As a formerly enslaved man, the struggles were hard for me, but I always had a sense of freedom. When I started cutting hair, I heard the cries of my people. I wanted them and the entire nation to know that they matter. To all of the young people listening, you matter, your voice matters, and never stop fighting for your rights.
What are you leaving behind as your legacy?
I built North Carolina Mutual Life with other local Black leaders. It is still growing, but now the largest Black-owned insurance company. I'm leaving it behind to remind everyone that no matter who you are, you can do anything.
That was beautiful, such a great message.
I would thank you for your time, and I look forward to meeting you again.
Tune in every Wednesday and Friday for the newest episode of Uncovering Heroes. Thank you and have an amazing day.
All right, now we have television talk show with Lucille B. Smith.
Hello and good morning, everybody. I'm John, and today we're back on the morning talk show, and I would like to welcome today's next guest, Lucille B. Smith.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, John and Dennis, for having me on the show. So, we hear that your chili biscuits were a big hit at the White House. Yes, they were. President Johnson loved them.
And you now have a box biscuit mix, is that right?
Yes, my biscuits are just so popular, I guess I wanted everyone to be able to have them. Wow, that's amazing. Your family must be so lucky to have such a great chef. Yes, they are.
And you are from Texas, correct?
Yes, I was born in the small town of Rockland, Texas, south of Dallas, way back in 1892. We didn't even have a post office until I was 2 years old. And you are the first African American cooking entrepreneur. How does that feel? Honestly, I just like to make good food.
Well, who doesn't like to eat good food, am I right? Well, that's all for today on the morning talk show. Lucille, thank you for joining me.
It was my pleasure. Next time I'll be sure to bring you some of my famous biscuits.
Yes, sir.
I heard this is the finest diner in town.
You saw that in an old newspaper.
Not that old.
It was from last year.
Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I'll be your waiter today. What can I get you to drink?
Can I get the most expensive drink on the menu?
I think she meant she wanted a Coke.
Okay, so Coke for you. And what would you like?
I'll just get water.
Okay, your drinks will be here soon.
It reminds me of your dad.
Well, my dad fought for the Union in the Civil War. Do you think our waiter did that?
I guess not.
Here are your drinks. But really quick, I just wanted to let you know that I like your hair. It fits you well.
Thanks, but no need to call me miss. You can call me Annie.
Well, Annie, do you mind telling me where you got your hair done?
What makes you think someone else did it?
She meant that I styled my own hair.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be rude.
No, it's fine. In fact, let me tell you how I got here. My full name is Annie Turnbow Malone, and I grew up as an orphan. As a teen, I was very fascinated by science.
Wait, what school did you go to where science was fun?
I went to Peroa High School in Illinois. I was very fascinated by science, but I was often sick and I didn't go to school. I ended up styling my older sister's hair to pass the time.
Oh, so that's where you got your hairstyling skills.
Yep, and it inspired me to attempt to create a chemical formula to help straighten African American women's hair.
Is that what you use?
Yes, I did. But what's even better is that the chemical formula doesn't hurt my scalp like so many others did.
Since my products worked so well, I decided to make more and I named the brand Poro. Stores refuse to sell my products though because I'm African American.
So how were you still able to sell your products if you couldn't sell them in stores?
Well, I was determined to make a difference, so I moved to St. Louis, Missouri. In St. Louis, I started my own business, that with a small staff, went door to door selling products. I then started cosmetology school that's used and sold my products.
Do you mind if I ask how old you were then?
Not at all. I was 33 then, but now 20 years later, I am one of the first black women to be a millionaire.
Don't forget that your salesperson, Madam C.J. Walker, was the first. Your perseverance and work ethic are why we're such great friends.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Miss Annie Malone.
Okay, now we're going to be in a boardroom. We're going to have, at a corporate office, we're going to be eavesdropping on some conversations.
How may I help you? I'm here to see Mrs. Peters for our board meeting. Name? Frank McWhorter. The wait will be about 3 minutes. Okay, thanks. Frank McWhorter, Mrs. Peters is ready for you.
Hello, welcome to Saltpeter Surf. How about we start with your name and a little bit about you?
My name is Frank McWhorter. I am 43 years old, and I am here to give advice on how to start up your own saltpeter business. I am currently the owner of Saltpeter Manufacturing Inc., which has grown to be very successful. Before starting my company, I worked side jobs at farms and got as much pay as possible until I got enough money to buy my wife's freedom. And 2 years later, I bought my own.
What else have you accomplished that can't be it?
The key to starting up a business is to see what either everyone or what most people are in need of. For instance, while I was still enslaved, I used my little earnings that my slave owner let me keep to manufacture and sell gunpowder. That investment paid off when a demand for saltpeter soared during the War of 1812. Mrs. Peters, George Washington Carver is here to see you.
Just a minute, I was just finishing up. How many people did you free?
Well, I ended up freeing most of my family.
Thank you for coming.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me help you pick these up. I hope they aren't important.
Oh, it was just my newest invention. I was just presenting it to Mrs. Peters.
Oh really? Who are you and what are you inventing?
My name is George Washington Carver, and my newest invention is a peanut machine. A machine that can turn any peanut into automatic, fresh peanut butter.
Oh, well, it was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
See ya. Gotta go. Hi, Frank. Nice to meet you. Oof, that was a long day. I'm glad the interviews are over. I know what you mean, Frank, but it was worth it, right? We've all got some exciting things going on.
Definitely. It was great to share my story with those folks.
I agree. It's important that we continue to tell our stories so that the future generations can learn from us.
So, what's next, everyone? I've got a meeting with a publisher next week.
I'm opening a new beauty school in Chicago next week.
Wow, you are all doing amazing things. What about you, Frank? What things have you done? I established the first known town founded by an African American. I named it New Philadelphia.
That's incredible, Frank. I'd love to hear more about it.
Me too, Frank. Let's grab some coffee and talk about it.
Hello, my name is Free Frank McWhorter. I'm a man with much story behind that explains where I am now. In the early 1830s, me and my family moved to Illinois. When I was there, I purchased 160 acres of land. Later, I built a farm, then eventually I established a community. I was the first black African American to establish a town. Freedom is part of my name because it is very important to know that no one else owns me, and I am worthy to make my own choices, hold my own rights. As you know, I own my own business and also have many other accomplishments.
Hello, I am John Merrick. I was born in Clinton, North Carolina, 1859. I was a black American businessman. Soon after my release, I started cutting hair, make a few bucks. I started and owned many of them. I founded various companies in the Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina areas. My most prominent and most successful one would be the North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company. I started this company because while I would cut clients' hair, they would preach to me about the daily struggles in their lives. I was sick of hearing that, so I began a life insurance company to give my community and the nation a sense of relief and freedom. My business soon blew up, and I became a role model for future generations of social consciousness, which made me one of the most influential members of the African American community in my lifetime.
Hi, I'm Lucille B. Smith, Texas's first African-American cooking entrepreneur. I attended Prairie View A&M and later used the profits from my business to fund one of the first college programs for food preparation. I also invented the first instant hot rolls wings. That got so popular, I served them on airlines and even for President Lyndon B. Johnson. I created my famous chili biscuits shortly after.
Hello, I am Annie Turnbow Malone. I am one of the first African-American female to reach $1 million in the United States. Madam C.J. Walker was an employee of mine before she started her own business. In the name of my brands are Hora. My birthday is April 9th, 1869, and I went to a high school in Corella, Illinois, but I never finished high school. My parents were former slaves, and my father joined the Union Army during the Civil War.
And off they go to change the world. All right. Okay, that was 7th grade's presentation, and I do want you to know, that the 7th grade wrote and created their, okay, this is a short one. This is a short one. Go ahead, go. So 8th grade is the final grade of the class in the school to present. All right. Now, again, lots of ears up here. Students, this is the last one, so hang in there and see if you can enjoy it. This is 8th grade, and I'm going to go back to saying I want you to know that the 7th and 8th grade did all their own work, all their own skits, created anything that went in it. I was just there to say yes or no. Yeses to everything. They did a great, great job. And now, for our very last presentation for the month of February, is Black History Month. We have the 8th grade.
The original traffic light was built like a cross, with the words "Stop and Go" on it. Since then, it has become modernized with 2 lights. I'm dead now, but before my death, 3. Yes, 3 lights were added. The 3rd light was added in 1923 and added safety feature. Safety in driving is important, and today's traffic light contributes to this. Make sure to wear your seatbelts, guys.
And we give another round of applause to every single person that prepared and studied and created today. What you did was absolutely incredible. You are sharing in part of history today. Hopefully you learned from each other's. And we are not excusing everyone until you're seated and quiet. Parents and grandparents, thank you so much for joining us. We really love having you here. Next year, we will have our parish finished. Well, we'll have it finished in the next couple months, but next year we will have our Black History Month presentations on a real stage. So that's something to look forward to. Parents, grandparents, thank you so much. And we're going to excuse now 1st grade. Please stand. Second grade, please stand. 3rd grade, please stand. As we leave the church and as we enter the school, we are still quiet. We're not leaning. We're not leaning. Please stand up. We're not leaning. Okay, did a terrific job. Very proud of every single one of you. Okay, 1st grade, see you back in school. 3rd grade, see you back in school. Very nice job. Just about 2 minutes. Dylan, put up, please. Thank you. Way off. Good job, you guys. 4th grade, you may stand. 2nd grade's not ready yet. Please take your hoods off. Hats off and hoods off. We're in church.